What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Linda. I'm a pharmacist, by the way, and on this channel we just talk about health, fitness and wellness, and generally just your health and how you're faring on. So if you like that idea, please hit the subscribe button and join this family. So today we are talking about also something that has been affecting me of late: insomnia. Help, I am not able to sleep. So yeah, I know most of you are actually affected. Many people in the world are affected by this, and let us dive into it. So what is insomnia? If I say insomnia, so insomnia is basically the inability to fall asleep or to maintain the state of being asleep. So you can't fall asleep easily, and when you fall asleep, maybe you sleep for a very short period of time and then you're up. Let's look at the causes. What causes insomnia? So insomnia is caused by a variety of factors. The first factor is anxiety or stress. So this reminds me of the video that I did about the coronavirus vaccine experience. Guys, if you've not checked it out, I'm linking it up so that you can go check it out. So anxiety or stress. So at that time I was so stressed, I was so anxious, I didn't know what I'm going to experience. So, and that first night, I cannot lie, I did not sleep well. So stress, it could be a factor. It could be also work related stress. Maybe you've lost a dear one, or maybe you've separated with your partner, umeachwa. Number two, we have diseases. So there are some people who have diseases, especially the chronic diseases like cancer. If you look at someone who has cancer, 90% of the time, they don't usually sleep because of the anxiety, because of maybe the pain, they cannot sleep. So diseases. Also another disease that can cause people not to sleep is hyperthyroidism. So if someone has hyperthyroidism, they can not be able to sleep. Another thing that can cause insomnia is medication. So there's some different classes of medicines. For example, the beta blockers. I won't go into the classes and everything, but just know there's some medicines that cannot cause you to sleep, and it is the duty of the pharmacist, once again, please make sure you tell your patients, counsel your patients when you're dispensing, tell them like, in this medicine you might experience insomnia, your sleep patterns may be affected. Another cause of insomnia is drug and substance abuse, especially alcohol and caffeine. So let us look at alcohol. Sometimes people take alcohol, they stay awake. Some take, then they actually stay asleep, and this explains to me why now maybe people are able to stay in the clubs for so long. They're taking alcohol, you won't fall asleep. Anyway, another thing is caffeine. Most people take coffee and then they, in order not to sleep, or mirror or something, they don't usually sleep. And this reminds me of a story in campus. Just 1 second. There's this person who actually took coffee the entire night, and then they were not able to sleep. But when we got to the exam, guess what? They slept almost the entire time of the exam, and that person is me. It reminds me of the first day I ever translated, and I said, I will never do this, and I had migraines because of the coffee, and I'm not gonna do that again. Another cause of insomnia is a change in your sleep schedule. For example, maybe you're working during the day and then all of a sudden you're shifted like to your night shift. So there'll be problems with now you adjusting. And another thing could also be jet lag. Yeah. So when you're traveling from one country to another, you're traveling from Kenya maybe to the US, you're living here during the day, then you also reach there, it's during the day, you're confused. Yeah, so jet lag. And then another thing that can affect most of us is our gadgets and mobile phones and everything. So most of us, before we sleep, what do? We go to bed, and then we are checking out people on Instagram, we are checking out guys on Facebook, we are checking out people, you are reading anything. Maybe you have an ebook you're reading just before bed. It can affect you. And then another thing we have now, the environment. For example, if the place is noisy, or if the place has extreme light or very bright light, or extremes of temperature, maybe it's too cold or maybe it's too hot, not fall asleep easily when those conditions are not right. And this also reminds me of strange people who sleep in the club. I mean, with all that noise, how do you even doze off? I have a friend of mine who actually does that, but they know themselves. When you watch this video, don't come for me, don't kill me. But how do you do that? I just wonder. Another cause of insomnia, and the last one, we have family history. So there's some people who have this disease called fatal familial insomnia. You can go Google and just read about it. Like you can find in some families, people just don't fall asleep. Like I have friends, someone can operate with 2 hours of sleep, whereas if I don't sleep for 8 hours, trust me, it will all be evident, and everyone will just know, like, Linda has not taken enough rest, because I'll be grumpy, I won't be able to be very productive, and I'll just be dozing off during the day. So those are the causes. And now let us look at the signs and symptoms. How do I know that I have insomnia? First of all, from the definition, not be able to sleep. When you sleep for a short period of time. You can't maintain like sleep for a long period of time. That's the number one sign and symptom. Number two, we have fatigue during the day. So you're just tired during the day, you're very like exhausted. Your eyes can actually itch. For example, I don't know if it just happens to me or not, but when I've not had enough sleep, I'll have eye bags, and then my eyes will be very itchy. Maybe that is why babies cry when they don't fall asleep. We've looked at the signs and symptoms and the causes. Now let us look at the treatment. How do we deal with this insomnia? If you cannot fall asleep, what do you do? First of all, your diet. Avoid caffeine and alcohol and very heavy meals just before bed. Yeah, sometimes I just wonder, like, there's some people who just eat a lot and then they go to bed. That is very unhealthy. You might have even breathing problems. When you're too full, you're not able to breathe well, and chances of you falling asleep, at some point you'll fall asleep, but you'll have a very difficult time falling asleep. So avoid your caffeine, avoid mirror, because it's a stimulant, and some alcohol just before bed. Then number two, avoid taking naps during the day. Just if you sleep during the day, chances of you sleeping at night will be very minimal. So minimize that. Then number three cause you have now, you can treat the disease. If the disease is hyperthyroidism, please make sure you go see your doctor. Then they'll give you medicines to take care of the disease, and it won't be able to affect you. Then stress. There's so many ways you can relieve stress. You can go gym. You can talk to a therapist. You can go work out. You can take some rest, yoga, meditation, all those ways of releasing your stress. Another way of how you can actually fall asleep is your environment. So make sure it's quiet, make sure it's a little bit dark. There's not so much light that's coming in. Make sure the temperatures are just like ambient. So if it's during winter, you can put up, you can warm the room, you can use heaters. If it's too cold, then use your heaters. If it's too warm, then you can find means and ways of using an AC, though sometimes an AC could affect your chest, but you could control your temperature using the AC or something of the sort. This thing that I actually found on YouTube. There's some people who've come up with this music or sounds of rain that can help you fall asleep. So if you just go to YouTube, if you just go on YouTube, you can type music or sounds of rain to help you fall asleep. I don't know if I can show you. Let me show you what sometimes I use so that I can fall asleep. So if you just go to YouTube, I've typed like music to help you fall asleep, and you can see this one has now the rain and everything. So it's usually just so calming when you use this soothing music when the sounds of rain is there. You remember that those days when you were young and then it was raining and then you just fall asleep. So this is basically the same thing. You'll fall asleep and you'll feel like very good. You set your time. It's usually like 8 hours or so, because that is the time that an adult is supposed to take sleeping. So when you put this on for 8 hours, you're good. And then also for your phone, please try not to use your phones before we go to bed. I know it's so hard, but it's a habit that I'm also trying to get rid of, like using my phone before I go to bed, because although sometimes I'm that type of person, I can be online and I'm just dozing off and there's nothing you can do about it. By 9, I'm always gone. Then another thing, always put your phone on silent. There's this meme that I saw, like people who put their phones on silent at night don't even care about anyone. But guys, I don't know, yeah, but yeah, in some way it makes sense. In some way, yeah, it kind of interferes with your sleep, especially us who are in the healthcare professional. Yeah, you're not supposed to put your phone on silent because you never know when there can be an emergency and someone needs your help. So that's also another tip. Always put your phone on silent when you want to sleep. Last tip I'll give you is exercise. So you realize when you do a lot of exercise, you usually get tired and then you're just knocked off. You just sleep. So please make sure you exercise like at least 3 to 4 hours before bed. Don't exercise immediately and then you go to bed, because maybe you'll be nursing some pain, you'll be nursing some muscle or whatever muscle sores from your exercise, so that can affect your sleep. And another thing that you can do now, the last thing, now we come to the drugs. So you've tried all these remedies, they've not worked. What now can you do? Go seek a doctor's advice. Go see a doctor. They'll be able to advise you. They'll be able to give you drugs that can actually help you sleep. And this is a caution. Please do not abuse drugs, because I know there's some drugs that can cause you to be drowsy and sleep, but don't abuse them, and they're available over the counter. Stop drug abuse, and just in case of such a thing, go see a doctor. They'll advise you accordingly. So I hope this video has been helpful to you, and if you're unable to sleep now, you're going to use these methods that I've given you to fall asleep. And yeah, I'll see you on my next video.